Hello everyone, I'm Sparked Fox, and I'm one of your hosts for today's episode of TREVS, the Rare Educational Video Series.
And I am Papaya, your other host of today's episode.
So Papaya, do you know what we're here to talk about today?
I'm gonna be honest, I've got no clue what we're talking about.
So today we're going to be talking about random page selectors.
Random page selectors are usually a button or a link that a user can press on a web page, which will bring them to a random page within a domain.
But how do these page selectors work? To find out, we will start by doing some research into the basics of random generators, how the pages are stored, and how the pages are selected.
Bet, let's get started. Please note that this video was written by one person and looked by 1.5 people, and may have many mistakes. Also, the research was done by a maniac over the course of 10 hours. We do apologize if anything is wrong.
Alright, so random generators usually use numbers. Essentially, a computer will generate a random number between two certain numbers. Are the numbers generated truly random?
According to an online article from MIT's School of Engineering titled, "Can a computer generate a truly random number?" by Jason M. Rubin, the answer depends on the definition of random.
The professor of computer science and engineering at MIT's Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Laboratory, Steve Ward, states, "One thing that traditional computer systems aren't good at is coin flipping. If you ask the same question, you'll get the same answer every time. They do this by following rules and relying on algorithms when they compute. You can't generate anything you could really call a random sequence of numbers because the machine is following the same algorithm to generate them. They are what we call pseudo-random numbers."
Basically, random number generators ain't that random. However, they are still used to choose a page randomly, so why are they used?
These random generators seem like they have a truly random output, as it is unlikely to get a same page in a large domain network, similar to Wikipedia.
Random number generators create a pseudo number. How does it choose this page, and how are the pages stored?
So actually, there are more than one kind of random number generators. PRNGs are pseudo-RNG, and TRNG, or true RNG, are two of multiple kinds of random number generators.
What's the difference between PRNG and TRNG?
Well, PNRG uses what we call a number seed, which determines which numbers are chosen, while TRNG uses things that cannot be tracked, such as atmospheric sound, instead of a numerical seed. This makes TRNG much more random than PRNG.
Well, in most cases, PRNG is used because it is more efficient. Wikipedia must likely use a PRNG, but it would be impossible to figure out just by clicking the random page link.
Now, how do these big networks store their web pages for these random number generators? Most online websites use servers that have memory. These memories have what are called blocks. Blocks hold a certain amount of memory each. Essentially, think of a block as a piece of lined paper. Each line is one block, and you can only fit a certain number of words or data per line.
In each line, you can only have one file. So if a file had one word, you would fill the first line, then move to the next one for each successive file.
And if a file had 17 words, you could only fit 10 words in the first line. You would move successfully down to the next empty or available line and put the rest of the words there. That being said, if a line already has words in it, you cannot write any more words in that line unless the file in the line is being updated.
These files are stored in the memory and mostly use DNS, Domain Name System, and HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, along with TCP, Transmission Control Protocol, to transfer the files to your computer.
Before continuing, why don't we explain a little bit about DNS, HTTP, and TCP.
DNS, or Domain Name System, is what computers use to change domains, such as www.insertnameofwebsite.com into IP addresses to easily send and receive data. According to Cloudflare.com, when a user wants to load a web page, a translation must occur between what a user types into the web browser and the machine-friendly address necessary to locate the insert name of website.
Essentially, DNS allows for easier communication between computers and servers. Another process mentioned is HTTP, or Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Hypertext Transfer Protocol is a protocol which sends and receives requests and loads web pages using hypertext links. All, if not most things on a web page will be loaded by HTTP.
Finally, TCP, or Transmission Control Protocol, is the most reliable transfer protocol over a network.
TCP is how the server sends the files needed through to your computers. When TCP is used, both sides, the server and your computer, check to make sure all packets or small bits of data were sent, and if some are missing, we'll ask the server to send those packets again.
Now, these three systems are some of the processes used to send these web pages to your computer and how they load them.
Before we get to how the pages are selected, blocks should be explained a little more. Every block is numbered, so imagine all the lines on the paper have been numbered from 1 to whatever number.
When a file is too large for one block, the fill block will tell the computer which successive block to go to get the rest of the file.
Every block is within a list, which has each individual block corresponding to a certain number. When you, a user, click to find a random page, the website will run a random number generator to generate a random number between 0 and the length of the list minus 1. If the memory has 10 blocks, the length of the list is 10, but because code counts from 0 instead of from 1, that means the number must be generated between 0 and the length of the list minus 1 to equal each individual item within the list.
The number chosen by the random number generator will correspond to an item within the list. This web page fills the chosen and the data is sent to the packets to your computer.
From here, TCP, HTTP, and DNS work together to load your web page. If you enjoyed this first episode of TREVS, please consider dropping a like or subscribing.
And make sure to check both our channels, SparkFox and Papaya.
Make sure you follow my Twitter @sparked_fox to get early information on these episodes.